Do you want to feel organized, fully prepared, be on top of everything with the busier ahead? Yeah, well, you're not alone. Everyone does. But the issue is we waste so much of our time on time management templates and systems that just don't work. I've honestly tried it all at this point. Bullet journaling, retrospective timetables, none of it is just sustainable for us students. And that is why I'm sharing the 2 simple steps that I take once a day to keep on top of med school, 2 part-time jobs, family, friends, this channel, and now TikTok as well. Quick plug. All of it done in just 2 to 3 minutes. The only 2 things that you need for this whole time management system is a simple notepad and a calendar, or I suggest using your phone's app instead. Keep it as basic as possible, no fancy apps. The entire system just involves 2 steps. The first step is to create a weekly task list. This involves everything that I need to get done for med school, YouTube, any miscellaneous tasks that need to be done that week. Logically think about all the free time that you have in the week and only include the amount of tasks that you firstly need to do and realistically then can do. And the second step is to simply spend 2 minutes every day to transfer the appropriate tasks from that weekly list into your calendar for the day. And that's it. You just look at your calendar, look at the free spaces you have in there, and then add the best tasks to do that day. I don't think of these tasks as set in stone when I put them in the calendar. I treat them as more of a suggestion, as a guide, but more on that later. Before I show you exactly how I practically do this method, these are 2 strict rules that you need to follow for this time management system to succeed. Rule number 1, offload every single task that you think of and then plan to do. Regardless of when it's due, store nothing in your mind. We routinely forget small but important things when we don't externalize them. To-dos and deadlines that only exist in your mind drain your energy, distract your attention, create stress, and are more likely to be forgotten. Cal Newport. Whenever you encounter a new to-do or a deadline that needs to be scheduled, quickly jot them down in either your notes page or your calendar. I usually just add everything I have to do in this list called all to-dos directly below my weekly list, and it just keeps it easy for me. Because when I'm making my weekly list for next week, then all I'll need to do is scroll down to the all to-dos bit, look at all the tasks there, pick the best ones, and then just put them on the weekly list. This is a very important rule because it keeps your mind free from stress and planning when you're working. No random reminders bouncing around your head. It's just a good filtering system. And rule number 2 is every task that you put on that weekly list has to be done 100% completed. That is the mindset that you must have. But remember, it's a weekly list, so if something does come up one day, you get busy, then you have the rest of the week, any other days to still complete your tasks. That's the flexibility part. But there's strictness as well because that weekly list has a deadline. It has to be completed by Sunday night. No excuses. You're setting the tasks for yourself. You saw your calendar, you saw your spaces, and planned accordingly. So it's on you to be smart with it. And the reason I do think that you need to be extremely strict with yourself on this rule, on this 100% completion rate thing, is because if you just set these tasks and see what you get done, you will get done less than 60%, maybe even 50% of the stuff that you set out to. But if you aim for that 100%, maybe you don't complete everything. Maybe you work super hard on that entire weekend just to get all your tasks done, and you might get to 90%, 95% of all your tasks, but you're still up there. You're still getting such a high amount of work done because you put this internal deadline for yourself and you stuck to it. And honestly, not to sound big-headed, but I do think this is the key difference between the way I do things and the amount of stuff I get done and compared to a lot of the people around me. And obviously, as a side note, you can change the tasks you have on that weekly task list in the week, but the tasks that you swap in have to be of the same energy and time as the original task. And now let's go through how I actually organized a busy day at uni. As you can see, this was my weekly list back in March. Not bad at all. No exams this week, just the kidneys casework, a bit of a research project, and some YouTube stuff. Now let's jump to the calendar. I have my med school timetable synced in and my work shifts are scheduled here too. So all I have to do each morning is to look at the tasks on my weekly list and then think about what I want to get done today. I have an anatomy tutorial at 3 p.m. and I always use the gap before then in the week to just recap the kidneys anatomy. Then I know I have dinner plans with my cousin, so put that in at around 9, and I'm probably not going to do any work after that, to be honest, and I want to hit the gym as well around 7:30. So now I know in the second half I only really have between 4 to 7 p.m. to do focused work, and because I need to get started on the actual learning, I'll actually aim to do the renal physiology lecture, the intro to kidney lecture, and do the physiology section in the notes side by side as well. And that's it. Easy plan. But let me help you make this sustainable. Let me give you 2 practical tips that will make living with a list and a calendar so easy. The biggest trick is to treat each task you set as a suggestion. You need to get comfortable with not getting exactly what you planned done. Treat each task as a guide or inspiration rather than something that you're tied down to do in the day. Other than that, I more often than not have to change my mind about what's important to do today. It's all on the weekly list anyways. It doesn't really matter exactly when it gets done. But what's important is that you're still doing the work, being smart about it, and putting in the planned effort that you you set out to do in the day. So if you do decide that you want to do the essay writing instead of this studying, then it should be that same 3 hours of hard, focused essay research and writing instead. It isn't always planned, but I know I have to get it done, and that's just part of the game. And that's the way I've broadly organized my day for a long time now. There's flexibility, but there's also strictness. All of the tasks need to be done by the end of the week. And keep in mind that this calendar is only a suggestion for how to live the day. It's not the end all be all. That is why it's such an easy system. You don't need to overly complicate your life right now. As a student, you have school, you have part-time jobs, you have family, friends, maybe a couple of projects going on. All of it can actually be managed quite easily if you have a clear, objective time frame of how much free time you have. If you overestimate your free time, then you are likely to put off work until it's too late. Another golden one by Cal Newport. And if you feel like you procrastinate too much to get the amount of work that you plan done, then check this video out. It's a full guide on how I stopped procrastinating 90 to 95% of the time and how I now automatically just get my work done regardless of how I feel. Thank you so much for watching. Check out my Instagram and TikTok. I've started posting a lot of stuff on there recently. I think it's pretty useful and valuable, but let me know. Leave a like. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.